Understanding life traps, how unmet emotional needs shape our patterns. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you remember, we started our videos by talking about schemas or life traps. Then we discussed how these life traps are rooted in our genes and environment. Over the past 5 videos, we've dived into the 5 basic emotional needs. Now the time has come to explore the different life traps that many of us fall into. In total, there are 18 schemas or life traps that exist. Each one often arises from damage to one of those 5 emotional needs we talked about earlier. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to these 18 life traps so you get a general overview of what they are. Of course, we won't have enough time to go into the specifics today, but don't worry. I'll be explaining each of them in detail in upcoming videos. For those of you who want to dive deeper right away, I've included the names of these 18 maladaptive schemas. You can go ahead and research them, but if you're patient, stay tuned. In the upcoming videos, I'll explain each one in detail and share my personal experiences along the way.
All right, let's start by looking at how damage to each of our 5 emotional needs can lead to the formation of specific life traps. When the first emotional need, secure attachment, is compromised, it can create 5 specific life traps. Abandonment,
Instability, mistrust,
emotional deprivation, shame and social isolation. Each of these traps arises when the need for emotional security isn't met during childhood, causing individuals to feel disconnected, untrustworthy, or unworthy of love and affection. These traps can deeply affect our relationships and our ability to form secure connections with others. When emotional security is lacking, we often carry deep-seated fears of rejection, abandonment, or not being good enough, which can cause us to push others away or overly cling to them. This internal insecurity might manifest in patterns of self-sabotage, such as avoiding vulnerability or constantly seeking approval. As a result, our relationships can become strained, and the cycle of unmet emotional needs continues, making it harder to break free and build the healthy, trusting connections we truly desire.
If we move on to the second emotional need, autonomy, competence, and identity, when this need is compromised, it can lead to 4 life traps. Dependence, incompetence, vulnerability to harm or illness, unhealthy self-image or identity. These traps arise when individuals feel that they aren't capable or worthy of independent thought, growth, or success. They may rely heavily on others or feel incapable of making decisions on their own. This sense of inadequacy can lead to chronic self-doubt, where individuals second-guess their choices and struggle to trust their own judgment. They might also find it difficult to assert themselves, often deferring to others' opinions or needs instead of standing firm in their own. Over time, this reliance on external validation can prevent them from reaching their full potential, as they become stuck in a cycle of dependence and fear of failure.
Now let's talk about self-regulation and self-discipline. This is the third emotional need. If we don't learn how to manage our emotions or set healthy boundaries, it can lead to 2 very specific life traps. Entitlement or grandiosity, inadequate self-control. When we don't develop healthy emotional regulation, we may feel entitled or demand more from others than we give. Alternatively, we may struggle to control impulses, leading to reckless behavior or difficulty achieving our goals. These issues can significantly impair our personal growth and stability. Without emotional regulation, we risk creating unhealthy patterns in our relationships, often expecting others to meet our emotional needs without reciprocating. Over time, this can lead to feelings of resentment and isolation, further hindering our ability to form meaningful connections and achieve a sense of fulfillment.
The 4th emotional need, healthy expression of emotions, is essential for balanced emotional health. When this need isn't met, it can result in 3 common life traps: self-sacrifice, approval-seeking, emotional inhibition. These traps arise when we're taught to suppress our feelings or put others' needs ahead of our own. We may become people pleasers or fail to express our own true desires and needs, which can lead to frustration, anxiety, or resentment. As a result, we lose touch with our authentic selves, becoming disconnected from our own emotions and desires, often relying on external validation for a sense of worth. This disconnection can erode our self-esteem and make it increasingly difficult to set healthy boundaries, leaving us vulnerable to emotional burnout and self-doubt.
You. Finally, let's talk about the fifth emotional need, spontaneity and play. When this need isn't satisfied, it can lead to four specific life traps. Finally, let's talk about the fifth emotional need, spontaneity and play. When this need isn't satisfied, it can lead to four specific life traps: negativity, pessimism, emotional inhibition, perfectionism, and self-criticism. These traps form when we lose touch with the ability to be spontaneous and playful. We may become overly focused on outcomes, avoiding fun or relaxation. This leads to constant stress, lack of joy, and an inability to enjoy life as it comes. When we lose touch with spontaneity, we start to prioritize control and predictability, fearing that any deviation from the plan could lead to failure or discomfort. This can result in burnout, as we become so focused on achieving goals that we forget to pause and appreciate the simple pleasures in life. Reconnecting with our ability to play, laugh, and embrace the moment is key to restoring balance and rediscovering the joy that life has to offer.
Now that you've got a brief overview of the 18 life traps, I know you're probably thinking, how do we get out of these traps? Before I dive into the specifics of each one, I'll be discussing coping styles and methods to break free from these life traps in my next 2 videos. So stay tuned. In the meantime, take a moment and reflect. Do any of these life traps resonate with you? Have you experienced any of these growing up? Remember, these traps are not your fault. They stem from unmet emotional needs and can be healed with the right strategies and mindset. Take a moment to think about your past. How have these life traps shown up in your relationships, career, or personal life? Maybe you've struggled with feelings of unworthiness, or perhaps you found yourself stuck in patterns of self-sacrifice or perfectionism. The key takeaway here is that these traps aren't permanent. By acknowledging them and understanding their origins, you can start to heal and create a healthier, more fulfilling life moving forward.
So, if this video was helpful and you're ready to start breaking free from these patterns, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. We'll be diving deep into each life trap, and I'll be sharing actionable steps to overcome them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll explore coping styles and methods to change these life patterns. Get ready for big transformations in your life.